What's going on, dudes? It's your boy Andy Matrix. I'm back on Angry Guys YouTube channel. Guys, if you haven't heard of me before, my name is Andy Matrix. I have a YouTube channel, Andy Matrix Gaming, where I talk about it's gaming content, anime, and Japanese culture. I also have a another YouTube channel called Andy Society, where I talk about social issues and economics. Okay, so for today's title, we are going to be talking about why the modern day video game industry is on the brink of collapse, right? So, modern gaming is absolute trash. Okay, for the most part, it's absolute trash. A lot of the games that have been coming out, they just been, especially from America, they've just been a disaster. They release games with with bugs. They release incomplete games and expect you to fix it, and expect the gamers to be okay with it. And the same thing that happened to Hollywood with the whole with the WOKE culture and the DEI and the you guys know this story. Now before we begin, guys, make sure to check out Angry Guys Rumble. Rumble is basically, a more of a freedom video platform. While YouTube is the censor station, Rumble, there's more freedom over there. So Angry Guy also has his channels over there as well. Make sure to click the link in the description to find his Rumble. Also, if you want to learn how to buy, sell, and trade cryptocurrency, day trade cryptocurrency. Angry Guy also has a course called Angry Guys Crypto Academy. It's also in the description. Make sure to click on that and check that out as well. And again, my YouTube channels, Andy Society and Andy Matrix Gaming, they're all in the description. So go ahead and check those out as well. Now, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the topic. So, I want to start by talking about of Warner Bros. Okay, so Warner Bros. Discovery shuts down three video game studios. Right, three video game studios is shut down. Okay, and so we're gonna go ahead and take a look at this video created by a YouTuber called Hypnotic. He made a really good video based on this. So let's go ahead and take a look at it.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's official. Warner Brothers Discovery has just been downgraded to junk status by S&P Global Ratings. From $1 billion franchises to $200 million disasters, the once mighty media empire is now drowning in debt. And we're not talking about a light amount of debt. We're talking about over $30 billion in debt. That is with a B. They have multiple failed launches and executive decisions that make you wonder who the hell is steering this ship anymore. In today's video, we're going to be diving into the complete collapse of Warner Brothers Discovery, from Suicide Squad and Multiverses flopping unbelievably hard to studios closing down like Monolith, who were in charge of the Wonder Woman game that never saw the light of day, to being over $30 billion in debt. But we're also going to go a little bit bigger. What's really killing the gaming industry and entertainment industry as a whole? How did activism, corporate bloat, and empty promises get us here? Let's find out. So special shout out to all of you 88,600 legends out there that are currently subscribed to this channel, and the 50% of you that are not currently subscribed. Consider hitting that subscribe button today. I would greatly appreciate it. So let's start with the big one, right? Let's start with the recent revelation that the S&P Global Ratings have officially downgraded Warner Brothers Discovery to a BB+, also known as junk status. The reason? Well, it's a combination of weak credit metrics and their inability to revive their television and streaming businesses. But this isn't just a slap on the wrist. A junk rating signals to investors don't trust them. It's a black mark on their financial record, making it more expensive and more difficult to now borrow money. And with billions of dollars in debt, that's a nightmare scenario. I feel like it's unbelievable that this company is truly above $30 billion in debt, and yet at the end of 2024, Warner Brothers Discovery stands at a jaw-dropping $39.5 billion in debt. Yes, we are talking almost $40 billion in debt with a B. That is unbelievable. That is more than the GDP of some small countries. And yet this isn't news either. Ever since the Warner Media and Discovery merger, they've been trying to cut costs, trim the fat, and restructure. But none of it is working. Why? Because their biggest products are failing, and they're failing hard. They have made multiple different decisions to try to invest in products that ultimately just didn't hit home. And some of them they've even had to cancel before they even saw the light of day. We just recently saw the cancellation of the Wonder Woman video game that was in talks for many years, and Monolith got shut down afterwards following the announcement that the game was never going to see the light of day. Why? Well, if you actually look at Monolith and you look at some of the people who were working on this video game, you're going to realize very quickly that from the inside out, it's very clear why this game was in development hell. The people that were working on this video game didn't exactly seem the most qualified, which is actually shocking considering that Monolith was in charge of one of the best games that ever released, which was the Fear franchise. But let's also be real. The people who made the Fear franchise no longer work at Monolith anyway. So the Monolith of today is not the one that made the Fear franchise of yesterday. And yet, unfortunately, they were the ones who were going to be in charge of the Wonder Woman franchise, and it just never saw the light of day. At the end, again, of 2024, we are talking about an almost $40 billion in debt. What contributed to that? Well, let's talk about Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, the game that was supposed to be a tentpole for Warner Brothers games, but instead, it bombed, and it bombed big time. The game reportedly lost over $200 million, despite massive marketing, a DC license, and Rocksteady's name behind it. It couldn't save this live service disaster. Fans didn't want a Destiny clone with comic skins. They wanted a real story-driven superhero game. The backlash was so severe that the player numbers plummeted within the first month immediately. And it wasn't even just because of the backlashes at all. Quite frankly, the game was broken. The servers were destroyed. They had to reset the leaderboards multiple times. Competitive nature within the game had completely died off. And again, even with patches and updates, it couldn't be saved. Suicide Squad didn't just kill the Justice League, it almost killed Rocksteady's credibility.
Okay, so that video by Hypnotic was he was absolutely right about a lot of things about AAA gaming and how it's just been one disaster, one flop after the other, one flop after the other, just spending hundreds of millions of dollars on a game, just these huge budgets on a game, and then ending up shutting down, shutting down the studios, and also of course adding all this nonsense to video games, and you can tell that they've been just copy and pasting video games, because much like the movie industry, they want something that is already proven to succeed, right? So they just want something that they can just copy and paste it, maybe change the characters, change the title, but it's pretty much the same thing, the same gameplay, right? That's what they want, just copy paste. What the heck. And this is why the indie studios are cashing in. I remember one of the first ones was Hi-Fi Rush. Hi-Fi Rush was a really cool game. It was an indie game, but it had massive success. The gameplay was absolutely fantastic. The story, the story, the world within Hi-Fi Rush was absolutely beautiful. I absolutely loved that game. I think I played it twice. You know, um, and indie games are on the rise, man. As AAA goes down, indie games are on the rise. It's similar to what happened with American entertainment and anime. American entertainment went down the toilet, and then anime started to gain popularity. Just more and more people got into anime. And this happened during the pandemic when you know a lot of people are locked up at home, and we saw we got to see all the drama on the internet, so people just started migrating over to anime and discovering a whole bunch of new anime aside from the mainstream stuff. By the way, as the gaming industry is collapsing and as society is collapsing, you guys are gonna want to invest into cryptocurrency. Okay, cryptocurrency is the new gold rush, and a lot of you guys are gonna want to get into it before it's too late. Again, this is the new gold rush, and Angry Guy has created a full guide on how to get into crypto and get started on it.
Let me ask you something. When the banks collapse, and trust me, it's coming, will you be ready? Imagine waking up to ATMs that don't work, bank doors chained shut, and millions of people left with nothing. No cash, no access to their savings, and no way to survive. But it doesn't have to be that way for you. That's why I created Angry's Crypto Academy to teach you everything you need to know about crypto so you can protect yourself and your family. You'll learn how to buy, sell, and even day trade crypto for a living. Plus, we alert you to new crypto trends so you can profit before everyone else even knows what's happening. Right now, I've just published an exclusive investment guide inside the Academy, and it's linked in the description below. In it, I reveal the one coin that could make you a millionaire. A coin so revolutionary, it could change everything. If you missed out on Bitcoin and Ethereum, this is your second chance. This isn't just about financial freedom, it's about survival. When the system collapses and everyone else is selling, you'll be the one buying, prepared to weather the storm and thrive while others struggle to survive. Don't wait. This knowledge isn't optional, it's critical. The link's in the description. Go check it out now.
Right. So, and the indie scene, right? The indie scene has gotten so big, and people have been paying so much attention to it that there's actually a showcase for indie games now. Okay, it's the indie showcase. It's called 6-1. They showed a lot of amazing games, and I mean a lot of amazing games. Everything from like pixelated games to 3D games to like games that look like they were meant for the PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4, right? Just a lot of really good games, man. You know, and in this showcase, I recommend you guys go check it out. Let's go. It's an indie showcase 6-1. They're keeping the old school spirit of gaming alive, right? With the creativity, the new ideas, and the gameplay, just brand new gameplay, different type of gameplay. You know, all those things that we will get in the PlayStation 2 era, right? Where there was just so many good games coming out, so many good games and different styles of gameplay. I mean, I haven't seen a game. You guys remember the game Shadow of the Colossus? Shadow of the Colossus was such a unique game. You know, I haven't seen anything like it. I haven't seen anything like it since it came out back in the 2000s. And it will be great if we get more of that. So I'm just gonna play some clips from the indie showcase 6-1. Here we go.
What's going on, folks? Welcome to the 6-1 Indie Showcase, the only indie game showcase that will straight up tell you we do not have Silksong. We don't have that Keeley level clout.
But what we do have is a ton of killer indies you probably haven't seen before. We're stoked to kick off the big summer season with a bang. Expect exclusive looks, world premieres, and as you saw in the pre-show, even more games you can play today.
All right, guys, I hope you enjoy that. Again, that's going to be 6-1. You can look it up on YouTube and check out, all those indie games. One game that I did wanted to talk about, as AAA collapses, as the modern day video game industry is on the brink of collapse. There's indie games are rising. Small studios are, just giving gamers what they want. And the game I want to talk about is Claire Obscure Expedition 33. I'm almost done with the game. I've been playing it for weeks now. I'm almost done with it. And the great thing about this game is that it's just another example of indie gaming eliminating all excuses, all myths that are pushed by, the AAA gaming developers like Ubisoft and even Square Enix, right? Square Enix has been making some excuses, right? So Claire Obscure Expedition 33 is a turn-based RPG made with Unreal Engine. It took 30 people to make that game. I repeat, it took 30 people to make that game. Okay? As opposed to 600 people to 1,000 people, working on a game from like from Ubisoft, and the big guys. They have like these huge teams, these huge, DEI teams. Right, and then here comes Claire Obscure Expedition 33, with a team of 30 people and a small budget. Because I'm guessing this game, Expedition 33, it couldn't have taken more than, I don't know. I'm going to say like $10 million to $20 million to make this game. And this is just an estimate from the top of my head. $10 million to $20 million to make this one game. Right? It couldn't have taken more than that. At most, I say 30 million. But this type of game, it does not reach the 100 million. Right? It's just a small budget, right? A small budget, a small team. The game has already sold 2 million copies. Right? 2 million copies is probably going to reach 5 million in a few more months. Right? 2 million copies already for an indie game. I want you to think about that. Another game that was pretty cool is called Schedule I or Schedule 1. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. It's another indie game, and this game was made by a single developer, okay? Just one developer. One developer. And he experienced massive, massive success from a $20 game. This is a $20 game, guys, and this guy made a lot of money. This guy made a lot of money. And I've seen other success stories like from, I think, Russian gaming developers where they make like an anime game and poof, they sell 500,000 copies. I think even more. There's a lot of people getting rich off of gaming, bro. For real. Now, there's, an example of AAA gaming and how, just how it's been failing over the past years is Doom: The Dark Ages. Doom: The Dark Ages. This game was a highly praised game, yet it flopped. And it flopped because people refused to pay the $70 price tag for this game. When people already felt that $60 was already, enough for a game, was already too much for a game. So there's been a lot of things that, the gaming industry has been pushing from Sony, PlayStation, Xbox, and now Nintendo. Yeah, Nintendo. They want you to pay $70 to $90 for a game. Okay? They release a game unfinished. Remember what happened with Cyberpunk? Cyberpunk 2077? That's a good example. Right? Now, granted, the game was pretty good, but when it first came out, it just had so many problems. Right? So it's like the customer is the game tester now. It's ridiculous. And then we got all this nonsense with like the DEI and the rainbow stuff that's being pushed down our throats, right? All that nonsense was happening. If we go back to The Last of Us, The Last of Us Part 2, that whole drama, that game was absolutely horrible, and it didn't sell well. And as a matter of fact, it was so bad that in Japan The Japanese were just, they would buy the game and then they were just selling it back to the stores. Nobody wanted that game. It was so horrible, and there was so much drama around that game that Naughty Dog was trying to protect that game from failure. You know, I back then I believe, and this was during the pandemic. I believe they were putting up like fake reviews of the game, you know, praising it. So it's just so many things, man. Just so many things, you know, the price of the game, and now it takes even longer because they want games to be so realistic, so ridiculously realistic that they're spending so much time on a game. You know, it used to take like what, 2 years to make a game, at most three, and now it takes like 5 years, 10 years to make a game. And a good example of that is Beyond Good and Evil. That game has been in development hell. I remember the first time I saw the trailer for Beyond Good and Evil, it was like 2016, 2016, yeah, 2016 I think it was. And then I will not see another trailer for that game until like 2018, 2020. And then I think in 2023 we saw another trailer for that game. It's just, I mean, it's been in development hell, that game. That game has been, I don't know what the heck they're doing with that game, man. But it's been like 10 years working on that game. 10 years. Like, what are they doing? And another problem with the gaming industry is that they're not hiring people that are qualified. You know, they're really not. And that's why a lot of these layoffs started happening. They're not hiring people that, you know, that are qualified for the job, and that's why we get crappy products. All right, dudes. Well, that's gonna be it for this video. You know, I hope this video was very informative, and I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to subscribe to the channel, Angry Guys channel. Right? Make sure to comment below. Tell me what you think. Share this video. Subscribe. Hit the notification bell for future notifications. It's your boy and the Matrix, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Godspeed, baby.